Hi Leo, and welcome to your horoscope for April 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: for your rising sign first, then for your sun sign, and finally for your moon sign. So I'm going to break April down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to the moon, how it moves through your chart, which houses it sits in, and when, so you know that where it supports you and in what areas of your life during this month of April. Okay, so week one, Tuesday the 1st to Sunday the 6th of April. On the 1st, we have the moon in Taurus, and that's in your 10th house of work next to Uranus in Taurus. So anything is possible as far as your career is concerned on the 1st of the month, April Fool's Day. So really devote yourself to your career as much as you can. You can accomplish incredible things and even things that seemed beyond the scope of what was possible. So it's an amazing start for you to the month work-wise. Then the moon goes into Gemini on the 2nd and 3rd, and it moves into your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and it joins Jupiter, the lucky planet of growth and abundance and prosperity, which is also in Gemini in your 11th house. So on the 2nd and 3rd, what will really start to make sense is, what are my hopes and dreams? How can I accomplish them? And I am finding that there are options that I've got in my life right now that I didn't have before. So on the 2nd and 3rd, expect to get phone calls from people for other job opportunities or side gigs, or if you have hopes and dreams related around relationships or your own physical health, you'll find that you are confronted with certain things in the external world which will allow you to accomplish those hopes and dreams for yourself. On the 4th, 5th, and 6th, the moon goes into Cancer, and it joins Hades and Mars in Cancer in your 12th house of spirituality. And on the 4th of April, the moon reaches its second quarter, so it's halfway to becoming a full moon on the 12th of April. It's waxing, it's getting bigger. So you'll notice that there's a kind of rise in energy. You feel much more energized. And in that 12th house, it's interesting because during this 3-day period, even if you're someone who's totally uninterested in spirituality or spiritual principles, you'll find that this is a 3-day period where you suddenly feel compelled to take care of yourself spiritually and your own spirituality, and to take care of your own inner child, and to have a bit of peace and quiet, and to go within and to be reflective. Go with that. It's going to give you a lot of answers as to what is important to you moving forward and what isn't. So during this first week, or the first 6 days, the moon starts in your 10th house and it ends in your 12th house, and that's the 4th quadrant, houses 10, 11, 12. So during the first 6 days of April, you're able to transcend your current self and see a different version of yourself through these connections to the higher realms, through this dialogue that's created with the universe, and how you could take care of yourself better, and how that would be reflected in your practical circumstances in your actual life. So it's a very personal kind of week, or a very personal beginning to April for you as a Leo. Then week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 7th to the 13th of April. On the 7th and 8th, the moon goes into your sign of Leo, and it goes into your first house of self. What's also in there is you're transiting ascendant, the rising sign, in Leo. And on the 7th of April, Mercury, the communication planet, goes direct. So on the 7th and 8th, you'll have a sense of well-being. You'll have a sense of, this is exactly what I want. Any issues with communication or transportation will disappear, and your perspective on who you are and what you want to get out of life, what you want to get out of work, what your hopes and dreams are really going to be crystal clear. And you're going to feel like there's this almost ethereal, otherworldly support of you getting what you want, supporting you in your journey towards happiness. On the 9th and 10th, the moon moves into Virgo, and that goes into your second house of money. So these 2 days are good to take care of anything on a financial level. So to look at investments, to get your paperwork in order, to look at your savings, your bank balance, anything to do with your assets, your belongings, to get those right. So maybe the house, the gutters are full of leaves, maybe they need cleaning. It's time to really get your practical belongings in order. On the 11th, 12th, and 13th, the moon then moves into Libra and it goes into your third house of communication. And during this 3-day period, you're going to be incredibly charming. So if you're someone who's single and who wants to date, these 3 days are great for you to kind of present yourself, particularly on the 12th, because Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, the planet that rules Libra, it goes direct. So any issues with starting new relationships or new businesses, that comes to an end now. And it's not just in a romantic setting, but during the 11th, 12th, and 13th, anything where you need to present yourself. So if it's a job interview, or if you're doing a speech, or if you're doing a fundraiser and trying to get investment in business, anything where you're trying to kind of charm people or influence people in order to support you, these 3 days are ideal for that because you come across in such a warm and attractive way. On the 12th as well, we have a full moon in Libra. So the moon has reached its completion point in its 28-day cycle, and it's showering you with this Libra energy. It's in your third house of communication. So again, the charm is there, but also if you're a creative person, if you are a writer or a sculptor or a designer, you'll find that the muses are really whispering in your ear that you're not short of creative material and that you're able to produce excellent work. So during week 2, the moon starts on the 7th in your first house of self, and it ends on the 13th in your third house of communication, and that's the first quadrant, houses 1, 2, 3. So week 2 is all about you. It's all about taking care of business, as in these are my assets, taking care of myself, but then graduating from that and kind of communicating who I am and what I stand for and what I'd like to achieve in future, and getting other people involved in that process. There's also an opportunity to change your perspective on something. If there's, for instance, a family member or a friend of yours who's doing something that you really dislike and you just don't understand what they're doing, you're like, have they lost their mind? Why would they do this? It's a bad idea. By looking at this and engaging with your friend or your family member, you may find that there's some sort of beauty in what they're doing, and you may find some sort of affection and understanding that brings you closer together. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 14th to the 20th of April. On the 14th and 15th, the moon is in Scorpio, and that's in your fourth house of family and your roots. We also have Black Moon Lilith, Vesta, and Juno in there. So this is a great time to spend with family, but even to spend with family members where the relationship is somewhat strained, or even if there's been an estrangement, something quite difficult, right? You'll be able to dive beyond the surface of what's happened. You're able to see the other person's point of view. You have great empathy, great compassion. And if there's anything that needs fixing as far as one of the most important relationships in your life is concerned, the 14th and 15th are really the best for that. Then on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, you're on fire again because the moon goes into Sagittarius, and it goes into your fifth house of what you love to do work-wise, but also who you love. So romance and romantic relationships and desire and passion. On the 16th, we have Mercury, the communication planet, ingressing into Aries, and that's in your ninth house of travel, education, and the higher realms. So on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, you'll find that you are really, really interested in making a new connection, experiencing something that makes you feel alive, whether that's via another person or traveling to a location that you've always dreamt of being in, or learning something that is fascinating to you. I think, though, it's the first two. It's either experiencing real passion and desire via another person, or being enchanted by a place that you visit that you've never been to before. On the 18th, Mars enters Leo, and Mars is the planet of masculinity and drive, and it moves into your sign of Leo. It goes into your first house of self, and it joins your transiting rising. So expect from the 18th of April to have a lot more energy, to be really focused, for your confidence to get much stronger, and also for you to almost slip into arrogance that makes you feel like you can wrap anyone around your little finger. You can manipulate people when it comes to dating and relationships, that you feel like you are the prize that needs to be won. Really, there's nothing here in April that says you're lacking confidence. If anything, I would say reel it in a little bit so that you don't come across like you're too full of yourself. On the 19th and 20th, the moon goes into Capricorn, and it goes into your sixth house of daily routine and work and the structures of your life. So these are two good days to work out, to exercise your physical body, to look at your diet, to perfect that, but also to get your calendar organized. It's also a good 2-day period to do the inner work. So if you're in therapy, or if you're doing personal healing from trauma or anything like that, the 19th and 20th really support you in getting your house in order, so to speak. On the 19th of April, the sun enters Taurus, and it does that in your 10th house of work. So from now on, you're even more supported when it comes to your career. So Leo, I have to say, April is an amazing month for you. You're confident, you have a lot of time for other people and romantic relationships and feeling alive that way. But now from the 19th of April onwards, the sun is in Taurus, it joins the part of fortune in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus, all in your 10th house. So you can really achieve the impossible when it comes to your work. So tackle the most difficult tasks from the 19th of April onwards until the end of April, and really do as much as you can in your working life. It's likely that you get a promotion. It's likely that you land a contract, which was really unlikely that you were going to land. It's likely that you could get a round of applause from your colleagues because you do so well and you're able to accomplish such great things. On the 20th of April, the moon reaches its fourth quarter. It's waning, so it's halfway on its way to becoming a new moon on the 27th of April. So you have the time and patience to really do the detailed work, to put the finishing touches on things. You're not rushing anything. You're completely devoted. Your attention is fully on your work. And I would say the 19th and 20th are the ideal days to focus on your career specifically. But that extends, like I said, until the end of the month. So week 3, the moon started on the 14th in your 4th house, and then it ended on the 20th in your 6th house. So that's quadrant 2. That's houses 4, 5, 6. And that's really the domestic sphere of your life. It's who I love, what I'm passionate about, and my daily routine, how I love myself, how I treat my own body. So week 3 is very much about career, but it's also about doing the inner work. So you can juggle things. You've got a lot of plates spinning at the moment: relationships, career success. You're really on fire here in April, and it's a great month for you to enjoy yourself in lots of different areas of life. Week 4, Monday to Wednesday, the 21st to the 30th of April. On the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, the moon is in Aquarius, and it joins Pluto and Pallas in Aquarius in your 7th house of relationships, and they oppose Mars in Leo and the transiting ascendant in Leo. So again, this is a 3-day period that's great for dating, for romance, for relationships, but also relationships that aren't that serious, which are designed to be fun and are designed to be short term and to make you experience something in the moment. On the 21st of April, Mercury reaches its greatest western elongation. So look for the planet low in the eastern sky just before sunrise. And it's in your 9th house. So it almost seems like the future is infinite and anything is possible. And I can't emphasize enough, Leo, how much of hope you have here in April, or how much there is a sense of course, wonderful things are going to happen to me in this life. The world is big and beautiful and wonderful, and I am going to squeeze every drop of goodness out of this wonderful creation, this wonderful planet Earth that I live on. So you really have a fabulous month ahead of you. On the 22nd and 23rd, we have the Lyrids meteor shower. They're best seen after midnight, and the constellation Lyra is associated with music, harmony, and creativity. So you're going to be able to use that in the sense that you come across in a way that's very poetic and very emotionally available and very compassionate and empathetic towards other people's journey, and you're willing to listen. And what I said earlier, that sense of you may come across like you're full of yourself, that now shifts into you coming across as a bit of an artist, as a bit of a poet, as a bit of a deep thinker or creative mind. On the 24th and 25th, the moon moves into Pisces. And watch out for this, because that's in your 8th house of institutions and authorities. And you've had so much fun this far in April that on the 24th and 25th, if there's anything that comes up in the terms of legal issues or red tape, bureaucracy, things to do with the taxes or the government, make sure that you don't just accept what is being told to you and you kowtow to it and you comply. Make sure that you challenge things if you think that they're incorrect, and that you take that seriously, and that you give yourself extra time to look at this kind of official side of things. If you just dismiss them and say, oh yeah, just sign it and just don't bother, it'll be fine, I'm assuming it'll be as it should be, you may be missing something and you may be paying out more than you ought to. On the 26th, the moon moves into Aries and it joins Neptune and Mercury and Chiron in Aries. This is a day that's really great for you to travel and for you to experience something new. Again, it's also a great day for you to exercise, to do something that gets your blood pumping. But ultimately, I think the most fulfilling thing is an experience that's new and unfamiliar. It's going to really energize you. On the 27th, 28th, and 29th, the moon goes into Taurus. And again, these 3 days are fabulous for you in terms of your working life, your career, and to do work that is incredible. On the 27th, particularly, we have a new moon in Taurus. So the moon is pitch black, it's pulling in a ton of energy, and it's pulling in this Taurus energy into your 10th house of work. Even the transiting midheaven is in your 10th house of work, and so is the planet of the unexpected and the seemingly impossible becoming possible. So on the 27th, 28th, 29th, please do as much as you can in your working life. You'll be so surprised at how well things go. And if you're an inventor, or if you're someone who is problem solving, or if you're someone who is meant to come up with a wonderful new idea, like for instance, you create commercials, these are the kind of days where you come up with your magnum opus, with your masterpiece. The 30th, the last day of the month, the moon goes into Gemini, and that again joins Jupiter in Gemini in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So I think at this point of the month, you're really going to be satisfied with everything you've achieved. And again, it's a good time to spend the day with someone you enjoy or working at something that you enjoy. We also have Venus ingressing into Aries on this day. So I really think it's all about passion and a new experience and stepping outside of your comfort zone and experiencing something that is unfamiliar and exciting. So this last week or the last 9 days of April, the moon starts on the 21st in your 7th house of relationships, and it ends up in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And that's pretty much the whole top half of the chart, quadrants 3 and almost quadrants 4 minus the 12th house. So the last 9 days of April are really about you putting yourself out there in terms of dealing with officialdom and devoting yourself to your career and traveling and making hopes and dreams come true and spending time with people you don't know or who are unfamiliar and living life outside of your home and having a great time doing it. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with in April. You look blessed, Leo. You look like you'll have an amazing month ahead of you. I hope you have a great time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, that's not a huge problem. I can use sunrise. But what that means is that the ascendant, the rising sign, and the house placements are off. And there's a process called chart rectification where I can manually work out your time of birth. You send me 10 or more significant life events and I can actually work it out, which means that the chart then is much more accurate. And then I can analyze it and see what your vocational aptitudes are, what's destined for you in family life and finance and relationships and spiritual development. To look at what's coming up in future, I look at your progress chart, your transits. If it's around your birthday, I draw up a solar return chart to see what's coming up in the next few months and the next few years. If there's anything around location and moving, I look at the astrocartography to see what areas work for you and which ones don't. So if you're interested in any of that, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That's what helps it show up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future, and please share the video. It helps the channel grow. I also do a daily tarot reading on my channel. So if you'd like to watch that, then please become a channel member. It's 30 or 31 videos that you get for your membership. So I do that every day, and if you'd like to be a part of that little community, then please do become a channel member. You'd be very, very welcome. I hope you have an amazing March, an amazing April, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.